And we're live! Woohoo!
Woohoo.
And this week, we have the amazing Petter-Erik as our guest. And the more observant of you may have noticed that we've got a replacement for Christelle, which is May King. And that's not because Christelle has been dumped from the show or anything. It's because I forgot about the time zone change and the fact that the UK has gone back an hour and the US hasn't. So Christelle can't make it today because of her work. So it's one of those silly global problems. So, Petter-Erik, can you just give us a little brief introduction of who you are and what makes you so really interesting?
I don't know if I'm really interesting, but yeah, I'm from Norway originally. I live in Vietnam. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 22 years old. I never had a job since that. I had a sales job when I was 21, and I got the sales manager I had was changed out to a new one, and I sold quite well, and he tried to teach me a new way of selling that I didn't believe in. So I started to argue with him, and I resigned, and I said to myself, never have a boss anytime more in my life. And since that, I never had it. So yeah, I've been entrepreneur. I've been first company was a computer company, and then I've been teaching sales and marketing for some years now. I've been running a personal development event company. I've done so many things with up and downs. Yeah, a couple of bankruptcies behind me where it didn't go so well, I think, and so yeah. So I've been feeling how it is being an entrepreneur on the upside and downside. So, and then I figured out that I didn't want to have any employee anymore. So I want to start an online business in 2017 because I never liked to be in an office. Like since I was 20, I always want to sit on a bar or an airport or in a hotel room or whatever to work. And I always did the best deals when I was not or had feel more alive when I was not in office. So I decided that I need to have a company without office. So now we have a company now with, I said I don't want to have employees, but I'm back. So we are 19 people around the world now, which are remote companies. So we have people all over the world. I don't want to have a fixed office. So I need to, So and that was the short story.
Now, I just want to pull you up on the fact that you may or may not be interesting, because if you just move a little bit over to your right, little Petter-Erik, I just want you to explain your wall art and what it says. That the lady, what is she shouting there? There we go.
I don't think the word Fock exists. It must be about like World War I aircraft and the Fokker plane.
So given that you've got, you've got a few years behind you of being an entrepreneur, bankrupt twice, and now you're in your latest essence, I'm sure that you are certainly very, very interesting and far from average, according to your wall art.
Yeah. Right. So I'm gonna. We had a long pre-chat for a change for this show. So I'm gonna just ask you exactly the same questions I asked you before, but maybe a little switch. So the more observant of our listeners and viewers may have noticed that you're Norwegian, but you're based in Vietnam. So how did you end up in Vietnam? And was this like, how did you pick Vietnam as a place to go? Was there a long and detailed process to work out how to go to Vietnam because of all the business concerns, or was it something else?
The thing what triggered me, or Maria, my girlfriend, and me, was living on a beach. So we want to find a place in the world. It was not Europe. We decided we want to go out from Europe when we decided to move. So we looked at a lot of Caribbean. But also kind of our business is based in, or our clients is in Europe. Yeah. So I still don't know if it was the best choice, but we think like the time zone now is better, that we are 6 hours ahead than 6 hours behind, based on how we work and how, So that was And to be honest, it could be anywhere. Well, I don't like, as I said, I don't believe in coincidence, but there is something like, yeah. So the story is like this. In summer 2017, we decided we want to go to kite surf a place in the world where it's hot wind. And in Europe, it's easy to find wind in the summertime. But in Asia and in Caribbean, it's normally in low season with wind. In the summertime, it's better in the wintertime. But we find a place in Vietnam. It's called Mune. So we booked ticket, and I also had started. I started like a sales trainer my business when I turned it into online business was to be a sales trainer. I've been working with sales all my life. So I created an online course in sales. So teaching sales to everyone will need to be better in sales. So we start to sell that, and I want to go to another place in the world to see if we really can sell this with living another one. So we went to Vietnam, and we did 8 weeks, and I did webinars each week. And the goal was to make more money than being on holiday. So I did this webinar, the rest was not work, and I sold a course that was going to start up in August, September, and this was in June, July. And it went well. Another part, right before we decided to, or 3 weeks before we decided to, or we was going on the airplane to Vietnam from Norway, I also figured out a place in Vietnam called Hoi An, and there is where I'm living. It was not the plan of the holiday to go there, but there was living on the beach. It was an international school. The place we was going to kite surf, they didn't have international school, and that was one of the criteria because Maria has 2 boys. They are 15 and 12 now, but they was 4 years younger when we moved over there. So we find this place. It was a beach, and the kids went to the school when we was there just for 4 or 5 days, and they said, if we really need to leave Norway, we want to go on this school. And then we like, okay, let's do it, like try it out. The worst thing that can happen is like after 3 months time, we figure out this was nothing for us. We go back, and we're super happy. And I think the longer we stay here, more we feel this is a place that we have the right people around us, really good expats environment, great people. So we just love it. So
so this is normally where I've got this nice little rhythm with my normal co-host Christelle. Well, she'd ask a question now, but making
sorry.
That's what you do when you have temporary like. But I had a question actually, and like nothing to do with Vietnam, nothing to do with Norway, but to do with sales. So I think a big fear everybody has with any of these kind of interviews is that the guest will just sort of start selling on just randomly badly selling stuff. But as part of your thing is like training people to sell and to do that sort of stuff. Could you give us an example using your conference that I know you've got happening in a day of like a really bad way to sell it and how you think people should sell something like that? Just as an example. So like, what is the kind of sales techniques that you would train people to do? And what are the sales techniques you really don't like people
What a great question, Tim.
Oh my God, this will take the rest of the session because I love this topic. So I believe, so there was a study on Stanford University for like maybe 10 years ago where they took the best salespeople in the world and took like someone was under them and figure out what was the different with them. And one of the things that was the different between them is people were extremely good in sales. They build rapport and they ask questions.
Yeah.
So it's like, and this is funny because I teach coaches and consultants how to sell better, and every coaches and consultants, they are used of asking questions to their client when they are in a delivery phase. Like it's extremely coaches, like you should ask better questions. It's like all the thing. But when you come to sales, they say, I hate sales. But and they don't want to be sales. They don't want to be this pushy salesperson that push out things out. And I think it's so hilarious that when I see they start to sell, they become this sales machine and try to convince people and bam, 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 throwing it over to them. So as I said, I've been working with sales all my life, and one of the things is like, and I can also explain what I'm doing now. So I also because I'm teaching sales and marketing online. So when I had my computer company back in time, I used conferences or bars, pub, networking places to find new clients.
Yeah.
And this is also what people are doing wrong on Facebook or YouTube and all this thing now. Because if I went to a conference and I go up to you, Tim, and saying, your computer is terrible, you need a new computer, I can help you with that. you will just like think like, hey, who is this fucked up guy? Like, what is this? Like, oh, I don't like him. And this is also what people are doing in social media this time. Like, hey, you need this, so you're just throwing it directly in the face. But what I did is like, hey, Tim, where are you? Tell me about yourself. And maybe in a conversation when we start to build relationship, you start to ask me one time, like, what are you doing? I'm running a computer company. And maybe say, wow, I need a new computer. And I said, okay, cool, but don't talk about that now. Maybe we can talk later if you're interested to know what we are doing. And then I just, because it's all about building relationship, and that's how you get a extremely good salesperson. When you and I need to be honest, I love people. The reason I've been selling all my life, I know to meet you, I know both of you, it's like always something good out of it. And I think like, of course, I love sales. I love this energy, this adrenaline kick to sell. But that's not what drives me. What drives me is to meet new people. So it's, and also you can also go to a conference or a bar or whatever, and you can sit down in a corner and thinking, I'm on a networking place. No one will talk with me. What I'm doing wrong. So it's also about to be out there and talk with people and give some value and be there for them. So it's maybe a boring way of saying, oh, that's what makes people great in sales, is to build relationship and care. I think like care. You need to care about people. You need to be there to really help them. Like you, and sometimes I know I've been in sales meeting before, and someone they say like, oh, my car broke down yesterday, and I said, oh, I have a friend who can maybe fix it. Should I give you the number? It's like, yeah, and that's helping. That's like, I'm not making anything out of it. It's like, it's not my way I'm there, but I'm trying to help the person I'm friend of with something. And that's also, when it comes to online marketing, it's what happened with people are coming to me because I'm teaching how to sell coaching or consulting or whatever, and they say, Facebook is not working for me. Facebook ads is not working. And I said, okay, tell me what you did. I have a course that costs £3,000 or $3,000 or whatever. And I run an ad for it, and no one bought. I was like, And I say, yeah, they did buy. So what did you do? No, I just had an ad, and I said, like, go to this page and buy. So like, why should I buy from you?
I know, it's a lot.
It's like, so it's the same thing. It's like we just move it over now. So what we are doing is, well, like we use we have a Facebook ad. We give something for free. We build our relationship. We do things like live show like this. We do a lot of things live, and we give away, like I also said in introduction, or before we come on, we have an event in 3 days time. It's the biggest thing we're having 3 days with like 30 hours with pure content, a lot of inspiration, and we give it away for free. For us, it cost us maybe like 150, 200,000 euro to run this event, but we do it for free because we built the relationship. So I think like that is, you need always, and you need to be curious. And if you're also this thing, if you need a sales, you start to be needy. So it's also about to show that you really care. Like, how can you help people? If I have this mobile, or I bought me a new iPhone 13 now. I'm a gadget freak, so I always try to find a way to buy the new gadget. But I need to find a need for me. So since I'm a marketer, I like, oh, this have a new camera. Oh, it's a really good camera. Look here, it's like 3. It's the best camera ever. It's like, so maybe I can get cheaper ads, or I can get better videos or whatever when I buy this thing. So I always need to find this need, and I think it's the same thing. You need to find how you can help people. So yeah.
You know, I absolutely love what you said, Petter-Erik. You know, when I've delivered courses in the past, it is, like you say, talking about building relationships and be genuinely interested, and, you know, having curiosity, you know, and the more questions you ask, the more you find out about the person. And, you know, some of the best conversations that I've had are with people where I've never said more than a sentence, because I keep asking questions, I keep listening, and I keep asking the, you know, questions because I'm genuinely interested. But it makes me memorable, so that when the time is right for them, then they may reach out to me, or they may recommend me my services, and so on. So I absolutely love, you know, in my head, just as you were talking then, it was like, preach, preach. Yes, we all know this, but in the wave of social media, I think we've all got the attention span of a gnat, and that chap, you know, he just wants to sell his program. He doesn't want to get into the buying, you know, building relationships, talking to people. I just want to do an ad and sell my program. But helping people to understand that, no, we need to be interested in people. We need to also showcase that we know what we're talking about, right? You know, I could tell the world that, you know, I'm the #1 FOMO creator, but I've got to prove it. You know, and presumably, Petter-Erik, by providing with your conference that you've got in 3-day time, you're proving to the world the value that you can offer as a coach, as a business strategist. And so when the time is right for your lurkers, then they will come and contact you, because you've been really helpful and you've showcased, you know, your value and what you can bring to that individual.
Yeah, and I just want to comment on the first thing you said, because I always ask a lot of questions, and normally when I'm in sales meeting or something, I just ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask, and I never ask for sales. I'm just waiting for this, like, so what do you have? Because then you are allowed to sell. They're giving you permission. But one thing you said was like, yeah, you're just asking a question and have this conversation. And what I think is funny, sometimes you just ask so many questions, and the other one like, wow, Petter-Erik, or oh my, you're so interesting person. I'd love to meet you. And I say, you don't know shit about me because I've just been asking you a question. But you know, people like to be that someone, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So it's funny, but that's the truth. We just everyone love to talk about themselves. So if you just ask questions and they can talk about themselves, they're like, wow, finally someone wants to listen to me. That's great.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got another question, and I'm going to go back to one of the pre-chat questions I asked, but I'm not going to ask the pre-chat one again. I'm going to ask a question that I'm not sure if I do know the answer really, but there's somebody who came from non-sort of online business. I did IT development for years. I was a normal, like, everyday person for many years, and then I kind of got into self-publishing and all that stuff. How would you describe the difference between marketing and sales? Is there a difference between the two, or is it because they used to be two separate departments that did kind of different parts of the sales process?
So the short answer, I look at marketing like helping people to see the problem they have. Yeah. And sales is to move them to what is possible or what is the future. So marketing is more like digging into the problem. You're doing both in marketing and sales, so it's not like a one answer. But if you're going to separate it, you need to take the attention about. So if you run a Facebook ad, YouTube ads, or do something on social media, you need to fit their pain. What is the problem? What is the problem they have now? And then when they have the pain and they see like, wow, this person understands my pain, and wow, this person is, or you are coming up with a great things with this pain, and you get what my problem is. Then the sales is more about how will the future be different when you didn't have this pain? Well, how will it look then? What can you do then? So like bringing people in the future with the sales and bringing them back to the, if they're going to divide it, but it's also, we use both in sales and marketing. We also, when we do marketing, we also talk about how will it be to look at that, and also in the sales we're doing both. But if we're going to separate it, I think like that's how to say it in an easy way. Yeah. Does that make sense? Or
yeah, I think that's actually one of the better descriptions I've had of the difference. To be honest. Most people don't seem to be able to. Well, the marketers people from a marketing background tend to think that sales is some dreadful thing over here, and people from sales are like, these marketing people don't do anything in general. From my experience of talking to people in those areas, so yeah, that's quite a good description, really. So yeah, the pre-chat question, which people will want to know, so I've got to ask it, is like, what have you noticed as the differences between the cultures of, say, Norway and Vietnam, and like what are the pluses and minuses? If somebody who'd been to neither for some reason had the choice between moving to Norway and Vietnam, what are the pluses and minuses of both countries?
So the pluses with Norway, from my perspective, and it could be from others. I'm trying to be, yeah. The nature in Norway is beautiful. You have the skiing, snow. It's beautiful there. Of course, you don't have that in Vietnam. When that said, we have beautiful nature in Vietnam. And what is fun, when we look at Norway and Vietnam, they both have a long coastline. So it's kind of the same. Vietnam is a little bit bigger country, but it's kind of, if you look at how Vietnam look and how Norway look, it's kind of the same thing. It's the same length, and also what I think is interesting when you look at the mountain, there is like big mountains in Vietnam, and it's kind of the same nature, but of course we have it's rice field and all this other stuff there. But I think, like, of course Vietnam is a communist country. And I didn't see that before COVID hit, but there is a communist country, so it's like people are more following the government there. They're not fighting if they do a lockdown. There is not like people going out and like, I don't want lockdown, and that's more happening in a democratic country. And for me, I think like. If you're not have an entrepreneur mindset, I think it's more safe to, of course, live in Norway. If you don't have a dream mindset and all these things, so the safety you're more taken care of in Vietnam. You need to do something. And I saw, it's sad to say it, but there was a lot of expats living in Vietnam for 30 years, and when COVID hit, so Vietnam is still closed. It's impossible to get a tourist visa in here now, and that's and March when it started. So of course, there was some expats that just lost their income and they don't have anything to do and they get depressed. They didn't someone just need to almost sleep on the street. I heard stories about it. I've not seen it, but I heard stories about it. So you are not have any society taking care of you. And it's like, and I love the Vietnamese people. I think I think they're more, even if you see here, we are living so in this place where I live, it was 70,000 tourists every day. So, and it's in a city with 70,000 people. So 70,000 live here, and it was like 70,000 tourists coming in every day. I'm living in a beautiful small town, was on the list of one of the most beautiful places in Southeast Asia. So it's one of the tourist attraction. And of course, for us, it's like when we go into the city now, or the town, every restaurant is closed down. There's nothing. It's dead. It's like a ghost. But still, there is like no one are complaining. They're finding things to do. And I think like in Norway, it's like more of this complaining. We lost everything with COVID. The government need to support us. We need to open up the restaurants again. The hotel. I don't have any income. And they're like, why are you not supporting me? I'm paying so much tax. But it's not like, so I think like, I know that if you look at the world most happy countries, the Nordic countries always come top or Scandinavian. But I think there's something wrong with that way of looking at it, because I've seen it in Africa when I've traveled there, and also in Asia. People are more happy. They're taking the day as it comes, and it's also interesting to be in Vietnam because there have been so many wars. So they're like they have this tick thing. They're like they have this survivor instinct, and someone, I think in Denmark, there was some books from some years ago where they wrote books about how to create hunger in paradise. And in a way, I think like Scandinavia is still, and I think also a lot of Europe is like a paradise. So if you can't create hunger there, there's no hunger to really do something. It's like we can just be average and have an average life, and everything is average. So
Do you miss the Sorry, Tim. I thought of a question.
Hey!
Do you miss the Nordic cuisine, and how does that compare to Vietnamese cuisine? Because I've had the pleasure of having incredible experiences in Oslo, but I haven't had the pleasure of visiting Vietnam yet. So, how do you miss Nordic cuisine? There's a long pause there.
Yes, some food I'm missing, but we can get it there. So, maybe I'm missing is not like a Nordic cuisine, but we have so much great fish in Norway.
Yeah.
So of course, and I love sushi. So there's always one of the best sushis we get in maybe Norway.
Yeah.
So, but of course we're missing some fish, and there is some small things that so this we have something called. It's called stick meat in English. If we translate it directly, I don't think you have it, but it's dried lamb. So what we eat on Christmas Eve, some parts of Norway are doing that. So it's dried lamb with salted dry lamb, dried over 8 weeks. I never made it before because I cannot travel now. So now I'm trying to make this by myself here in Vietnam to try to get some of the tradition back. Of course, vegetables is so amazing in Vietnam. You always get fresh vegetables, so it's so many things that are great. And I think like Vietnam has a lot of different, because it's French colonized, so it's a lot of good French restaurants. So I feel like we have the Vietnamese cuisine here, but also a lot of European here. So I don't think it's so much I miss. I think and the food is amazing here. I think like the average of this food is much better here than it's in the restaurant. I have a friend who lived in there for 19 years who is Norwegian, or I didn't know him before I moved over, but he's Norwegian. And he went back to Norway one summer and was like, wow, it's terrible to go to a restaurant in Norway because it's just crap food. It's just like this terrible fast food, and you're used to all this great food here in Vietnam. So
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, what advice would you give to anybody who say, like say, is a digital nomad and they've got like they earn all their money online doing online stuff? What advice would you give to somebody moving to Vietnam? Like, why? What are the like? What would be a good reason for somebody to go pick Vietnam over, say, Thailand or somewhere else? And is there anything about the Vietnamese culture that makes it difficult for people from Europe moving there that you could say, if you like this, then don't move to Vietnam, sort of thing?
And before you answer that question, Petter-Erik, are you asking for a friend there, Tim, or are you?
No, well, no.
You thinking about going to Thailand as a digital nomad, but now suddenly Vietnam is on the scene.
Well, I don't know if I'm ever going to move anywhere abroad. I keep talking. I've only ever lived in London. I have toyed with the idea of, but Vietnam's one of the places that it's worth. Lots of people talk about Vietnam, Thailand, Mexico. They seem to be the most popular ones at the moment. There's some others. So anyway,
so Petter-Erik, as you're in the arena of sales, sell Vietnam to Tim as a potential digital nomad.
No, I think like, or this is for us why we moved. We want to move a place where we didn't meet a lot of other drunk people from Europe that was just moving because it was cheaper alcohol and things like that. And I think it's more like, so there is no in our expats environmental, it's not like that. It's a high quality of entrepreneurs who live here, and there's not so many like me. There's more like in the restaurant or in the hotel business or tourist business and all this thing. But they're really clever. Like I like to be around clever people that are good, and also Vietnamese. There is a high quality of smart people there, and I think like Vietnam is growing so fast, so I think they're still a little bit behind Thailand when it comes to how it looks, but they're growing so fast and they're smart. So I didn't believe that I was going to stay here for 4 years. I was thinking, let's stay there for 1.5 years. Maybe we can go to. We talked about Bali, and I love Bali. I've been there a couple of times, And I also love Bangkok. I've been in Thailand. But more and more, I can't say this is why you should move, but it's just a feeling. It's a great place. You should look up Hoi An. Just do it after the show. Look up Hoi An and look at picture there. And it's a small place. It's not like crowded. And one thing was really good. We have 30 minutes when everything is open again. We have 30 minutes to Da Nang Airport, and that's the international airport that fly directly to Europe. And I think. And it's 30 minutes. It's no queue. It's not like if you go to Bangkok or you go to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh or other things. It's always, and also Bali. It's like to go to Bali and go to the airport is like take 2 hours, even if it's just like 20 kilometers. So I think like it's still in a place where it's there is not too many things around. You can have fresh air. Fresh air is a good thing. Many other places doesn't have fresh air. And it's short. Where we are living, we have 1 hour to go to Thailand. We have 1 hour to go to Cambodia. We have 2.5 hours to Singapore. We have 2.5 or 3 hours to 2.5 hours to Hong Kong. It's like it's in the middle, and it's not far away from India. So it's like if you like to travel, you're in the middle of everything. So and it's nice weather here, 10, 11 months a year. We have rain season now, but even with rain season, we have some great days. So yeah, it's just it's all about the sea, the sun, the people, and the food is amazing, and higher life quality. I know that Thailand is still cheap and other places, but it's like today I have a chef, we have a pool guy, we have one cleaning our clothes every day. It's hard for us to move back to Norway because we need 10 times more in salary to live the same
What's his washing
lifestyle.
machine thing?
Yeah. So what is that? Yeah. How do I make food? I love to make food when I lived in Norway, but the last 4 years I maybe made food 20 times or 30 times. Everything is like going out and eating and get some. And it's not like I don't like to do it, but seriously, we are just living one life and spend it on what we really enjoy most of doing. So if we can do it, and also of course we are also helping someone, we're getting some money, like having a job. So it's like win-win. We have so I think the life quality is the word. Like if you want to move from Europe, it's like you can get so much better life quality in a lot of countries around the world, but that's the main reason. Because we need to, in Norway, we have free school, so it's not cheaper for us if you look at the total budget of living here. Because here we go to international school, but the biggest difference, we have a higher life quality.
So Tim, are you sold? Are you going to Vietnam now?
Yeah, obviously I'll get the, and then find out I can't go there.
You might want to finish this show first, though, before you go.
Actually, it does remind me of something I put in the description of the show, so I better ask about, which was that you actually put it in your pitch to me when you were trying to pitch to be interviewed, was that you've increased your number of employees during COVID. How did that happen? Like, how did you manage to expand the number of people you employ in Vietnam during the COVID period? And was that a deliberate choice because you wanted to support people?
It's a great question. So I think everything is about building a company or being an entrepreneur. I just see more and more it's an 80% mindset. So when March hit, and of course we had a company already, and we did, but even in our niche there was or over what we are teaching, there was people was putting on the brake. So what I did in March it's almost 2 years ago now, or 1.5 years or whatever it is. I start to read book How to Grow a Business in Crisis. So I just like figuring out what do people do when it comes, how can I do this? Like, what should I do now? And one of the things that every successful company that has grown over a crisis, they start to use more money on marketing. And the reason is like the prices of marketing goes down because so many are taking out the brake. So I think it was just a mind, but what we did, normally we have one weekly meeting to just see on the numbers and all these things. When COVID hit, we decided to have 2 weekly meetings just to be really secure. So we didn't I wanted to take risk, but no so big risk that we just risk the company. So it was more control, but also willing to give it more. And one thing we did, I also say that I went bankrupt before, and one of the things is like, I'm not a manager. I'm not good to manage a company.
Yeah.
I'm a sales guy, I'm a marketing guy, I'm visionary, I can do all these things. So the two last company I grown, one went bankrupt and one I just gave up. The reason is like, it come to a place where I couldn't keep track of everything because I'm like, I can't manage, I can't do all these things. So we also decided when we come to that place again, we need a COO or a manager who can to take over it. So we was hiring a COO exactly the time that COVID hit in, and that was also big. It was like 100K, 100K more in expenses for us per year. So it was like, wow, should we do this when COVID hit in? So I think like that was one of the best decisions we made. We did that, and also looking at be aggressive in the way of growing a company, but still looking at the numbers and because I have always been a risk taker. So I also said, I know I'm a risk taker. I want to move to just do this now, and we'd never know. But I think like that was one of the reasons. And of course, also everyone else. We was in a luxury place because everyone need to go online. They couldn't do things. So it's a combination. But I think everything is a mindset. There is so many who have grown their business and changed their business and find up new ideas under COVID. And someone just fell down and slept and thinking, oh, my life is over. I need to wait over till this is over. But there's always something to do. I think it's also a mindset about it.
Yeah. Okay, so we got to this exciting part of the interview where you can sell your wares to us. So if anybody is watching this show and is interested in like how can they find out about you, and what do you offer people? What do you mean, like, what's your elevator pitch? I hate the term elevator pitch because you never sell to elevators. But what is your elevator pitch for your, as the Mr. I know you're a salesperson, so you should be good at the sales bit of the pitch thing. Anyway.
So my passion is to help. There is so many coaches, consultants, or people selling their knowledge and selling it hour by hour, and also having this thing like, oh, it's good to be an entrepreneur, but I need to go to this place to do my service, or I need to go to a company, I need to fly around, I need to do all these things. So what we are helping coaches and consultants and all these things will have a physical business, who maybe runs also really well, but I'm missing the freedom. I'm missing the thing like we are doing, like traveling more and being more over. So we're helping them to develop a program that they can sell online. So how they can turn it from a physical to online business with the online marketing. But so it's also we teach pricing or help them with finding the right price, helping to find the target niche. I think it's also one thing of if you have a physical business that works well with coaching and consulting or knowledge that you sell, you need to niche it down, because you're just going, people say, I don't need a niche because clients are just coming. The reason is like many of us are living off referrals. So May can say like, oh, I went to Petter-Erik and learned online marketing, and here is the result. But you are the niche for me, and you find other people that are in my niche. So people doesn't see their niche. We're also helping in a niche, and we are basically helping with everything to turn our offline business into online and selling your knowledge online. So yeah, that was short elevator pitch. I don't know if it was elevator pitch, but that's what we're passionate about and what we do.
And talking about online, you've mentioned it a couple of times, but we'd like to know more, because I'm sure that people who are tuning in or watching the replay will like to know more about your up-and-coming conference that's happening in 3 days. Who's it for, and where can people register?
So it's for what I said. It's for coaches, consultants, or what I call info entrepreneurs that have some information. That it could be dog trainers, horse trainers. It could be football coaches that want to do something online. It could be artists that are teaching art. So all this will have something, and they maybe want to turn it into online course or something. That's it's for. And it's called Awesome Event, so AWESM event. So it's playing with the word awesome, and there you can register. Also after 3 days, we we'll also turn it into more like a program after. But it's huge. It's so much value, and it's the best tactics and strategies that works now. So it's not like, and we're not like hiding anything. It's totally free. You can also upgrade and get possibility to see the recordings and all these things. That costs a little bit of money, but you can join it for 3 days for totally free. It's like 20, 30 hours with content. And we talk about pricing, we talk about dream clients, we talk about what works on Facebook ads now, YouTube ads, all the things you need to know and know what is working now. We are teaching what we're doing by ourselves, and also we have some of the best experts in the world, like the top experts that many dream about to meet, so are speaking there. So yeah, it's totally free, and I can promise. I mean, and I'm not saying this, I mean it. We could have charged. I could have feel good and not feel it's any scam or anything like that, and charging €500 per ticket because it's or 10,000 euro per ticket because it's so much value, but it's free. So yeah,
so sounds fantastic. So I think we're done. I think we managed to survive the interview, so it was great to have you on the show, Petter-Erik. And May King is actually, her first name is May King. It's just confusingly she's got May King there.
May King.
So,
yes.
I'm the person with the niche of just having one name here. So,
that's good. May King and Petter-Erik and Tim.
Yes, that's right.
So thanks for everybody. There was a few people who chimed in with comments, which was good. Yes, see everybody. There's no show next week because I'm at Atomicon, which is a conference in Newcastle. But the week after, we're interviewing somebody on the Sunday. So that should be fun. So thanks a lot for everybody for watching. And
thank you. It was really fun. Thank you for having me.
And now I can find the outro bit. There you go. Here we go.
This is terrifying for me.
I've made more money in the last 3 years than I did in the previous 7.
Just cliche shit, you know.